All righty, we're back with you doing Gun Talk exactly from the set of Guns and Gear, Season 8 television. We're sitting here, and if you're watching right now, you're thinking, wait, what happened to those guys that were on before? Well, we just swapped them out. So we got new guys here. We got new people to talk about guns. We're going to be having some fun today. By the way, Guns and Gear, if you don't know, it runs on the Sportsman channel, also available on our YouTube channel. And what we're doing right now is we're doing radio and shooting video of it, so you'll be able to go back after you hear this, or even while you're hearing it, and watch us on YouTube, which is a frightening thing, gentlemen, because there we go. We have Rob Leatham from Springfield Armory, Matt Willson from Ruger. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Okay. All right, we're done with you. You can leave now.
All right, thanks. See you all later. See you next year.
We just finished up with Rob doing a whole bunch of pieces in the studio, and Matt, you are our victim for this afternoon. Okay, but it's not your first time in here, so you know what's in store for you.
I have a good idea, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody goes in with a plan. Doesn't necessarily follow that, but you come in with a plan.
Your plan survives till the first shot?
Till you say roll it.
It's about
Action, that's when the plan ends.
Exactly. Now, one of the funny parts about all this is, and I talked about this before we went on, is, I mean, you guys are gun guys. And so before we're doing the show, you're like, we got the Springfield guns and we got the Ruger guns, and then you are actually looking at each other's guns and saying, "Oh, that's cool. I like that." Because that's what we do, isn't it?
It is what we do. We work for gun companies, and you're in the industry to promote whatever products we're working on at a given time. But in reality, we all probably got here from the same starting point.
Sure.
We probably like guns.
Like guns, like to shoot.
That's how I started.
We know that you've shot a gun or two.
Yeah, I've shot a couple.
And
you know what? I hope this doesn't get me fired, but believe it or not, I actually have guns that aren't produced by Springfield Armory.
You actually, originally, you were kind of a revolver guy at one point.
By force. My dad did not like auto pistols, so when I was a kid growing up, we had revolvers. That's what we had. That's what he liked. I think he had a Luger and this old Nambu that we still have.
No kidding.
And those were the only autos. We never shot him because he didn't like any of them.
So what'd you shoot?
Smith & Wesson Model 27.
Ooh, nice.
Was the first gun I ever shot.
Full-size 357
Full-size, yep. 600.
The original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my first gun was a Model 34, which is the small J-frame 4-inch barreled round butt. Mine was kit gun 22. That was my first gun. Not the first gun I shot, but the first gun I owned. And
right.
After that, started shooting a little competition, and he traded some family guns to somebody else for a 45, and
it screwed you up for life.
Screwed me up for life. Yeah. Now I've been infected, and I like autos. Yeah, it's crazy.
There you go, Matt. How'd you get started this foolishness?
So I came to Ruger just kind of by happenstance, but I was born and raised shooting out in Central New York.
Yeah.
And so great luck to land in the gun industry, but
no kidding.
What a great place to be, and even as a customer,
Right.
We like guns, and I certainly like everything we offer, but it's great fun to play with everyone else's guns too.
Yeah,
it's always a good opportunity.
We see our stuff every day. It's kind of a treat.
You guys get together. It was funny. The first thing, you walk in, I introduce you guys, and like 30 seconds later, Rob's saying, "So that big revolver, can we make it an 8-shot?" And you're actually helping redesign the Ruger revolver over here. You guys are, go, "Oh yeah, we could probably do that."
Yeah, but it's self-serving because I want one.
Yeah,
so
I lend my expertise on the technical side. So all you got to do is drill 2 more holes.
Yeah,
so what do you want, man?
So 6 + 2.
There you go.
8, right?
It sounds easy enough.
Boy, there's lots of room.
What could be hard about this?
How hard could that be?
That would be fun though. A match champion, 8 shots. That sounds like a good time.
Ooh.
There you go. Take that home.
There you go.
I don't want the first one, but I want one soon.
You guys, I know Ruger, you're turning out new guns so fast it's unbelievable. You must have a shopping list of things not only in the works, things that you would even like to get in the works.
And it's a long list. So the short answer anytime says that anyone asks, are you working on something? Well, you know what? Probably.
Chances are.
Yeah. Whether it's at the top of the list, bottom of the list, or even on anyone's radar.
Right.
Who knows? But has it been thought of? Sure.
Yeah. Somebody has said we ought to do something like that.
Well, and whether it's you or Rob or anyone in our Voice of the Customer programs, that's how we make new guns. That's how we make the guns that people want to buy.
Yeah. You find out what do people want to buy, because nobody ever made money making products that are what people should have.
Right.
You make products for what people want to have,
Or something the company wants to build.
Sometimes the two go together, you know, but not always. So, I mean, there you go. The funny part is, I'm just thinking about this and realizing both companies make a lot of 1911s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Springfield's been making 1911s for a long time. Ruger's been making them for a while, actually, longer than we think now, because we always say, well, you know, Ruger's kind of new in the 1911s, but not really so much. Been at it a while. And of course, the question and we just did a piece, I'd love for you to talk about this, is with everybody growing up with polymer striker-fired guns now, probably anybody 30 and under, there's a good chance he or she has never fired a 1911.
Right. It's highly probable to the degree that the average person looks at it. Average guy, you know, who is that guy? But
Internet people.
Yeah, internet people. The guy going and reading that might be susceptible to our advertising programs might not know there is a 1911. They think the modern pistol, by definition, is an auto pistol, magazine fed, polymer frame, striker fired.
Right.
And in reality, I would not disagree that is a more recent development.
Sure.
But nothing's new. And the
yeah, when you start digging back in the records, you find, that's been done before.
Yeah,
you know?
You really dig back. There's truly nothing new. But we just try to develop something that, as Matt said, is the consumers asking for. You know, there are lots of companies gone out of business over the years building what they wanted to build that nobody else wanted to buy. Mm-hmm. So that the trick is to figure out what the consumer wants and how to build the best thing for him. The good news is, like Matt said, there's tons of ideas. I sit in on those meetings, and what they always are what we're going to put on the back burner, and we're going to work on first. I mean, for us, you know, there'll be a list of how many pending projects can there be. Anybody with an idea, that becomes a project. And at that point, it becomes, okay, what are the easy ones to hit? You know, is it change the frame color on a gun, or is it to add something? Well, the whole 1911 thing and the way it cycles into this is that gun has been involved in that program since literally 1911. So you're not going to find, let's say, a new development, but our manufacturing capabilities allows us to build them in ways that we couldn't once.
All right, here's a question for you, because you guys do like tons of CNC work and all of that. Are guns, actually for both of you, are guns today made with the high-tech CNC machinery, can you make them better than the average, not a handmade gun, average gun made 30, 40, 50 years ago?
We certainly believe so. You know, in the last decade, Ruger has changed how we make guns and how we make the parts for guns, even more importantly.
Okay.
You know, so it's a lean production process. We make each part one at a time. So, you know, every so many seconds, a gun will come off a line.
Right.
And it's not custom built in that, you know, somebody with a extreme high level of skill who's been building a 1911 for 30 years can do. But we know each part is good going into the gun. We know the gun's function. And you are just guaranteed a certain quality level by the way we manufacture today. And part of that's with CNC, and part of it's, you know, intelligent gauging and spending the appropriate money on the process where it makes sense.
Those who can't see, Rob's over here just nodding on everything you're saying, man.
Everything you're saying is correct. You know, when you look at the scope of the question is actually even bigger than that, Tom, because the equipment that we had to build guns on when the 1911 was introduced, you could not make it the way we do.
We had
now.
milling machines and screw machines.
Well, the concept was you make a part that was close, and then somebody puts the gun together and fits it, because the tolerances that we could hold for mass production were so far off that the gun didn't end up being put together well enough. Now we can control tolerances so much better. I mean, from the standpoint of whether you're molding or miming or casting or machining or broaching, it doesn't matter. However you're doing it, we can now build them in a manner that we couldn't have built an XD 50 years ago. We didn't have the technology to do that.
Right.
I mean, the molds involved for the frame on one of these polymer pistols are so complex. The technology didn't exist.
Well, you know, one of the measures of this is, in the old days, you'd have 1911. You couldn't just order a part and it would just pop in. That wasn't going to happen because no two guns were exactly alike. Now you can actually buy a part, get it shipped in. It's going to pop right in because they're all made the same. That's the kind of precision you're doing these days.
Well, and that's the advancement. So when you say Do we make them better now? No. I still think that if you look back at an old classic 1930s Colt government model commercial,
right,
that those guns were put together really well. But that gun, the way it's built, would be a $3,000 gun today.
Okay, that's a good point, because you have to have somebody at the end of the deal with a file and a polishing stone who knows how to do it, and you don't have those people anymore, and nobody, they may pay for a Brown or Willson or whatever that. Hold on a second, guys. We'll take a little quick break here. We come back. I want to talk about some of these guns you have laid out in front of us. We've got 1911s, we've got polymer guns, and we got a really cool rifle over here. We're visiting with Matt Willson from Ruger, Rob Leatham from Springfield Armory. I'm Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk. All right, we're back with you, and I had to stop Rob and Matt from talking about guns so we could go back on the air and talk about guns.
Going on a rant.
Go ahead and pick up right where you left off. You said, what were we talking about here?
Well, we were talking about the tolerances in manufacturing of guns from when I was a kid to what it is now, and the 1911. Well, my dad always complained about 1911s. The reason he didn't like them was because they were loose. There was mil spec or there was a custom built gun.
Right.
And the polymer pistol has never had to deal with that same level of customer because that new generation of guy doesn't care if the slide has no wobble or looseness laterally and up and down, no drop in the barrel and those things. They don't care because it's a different piece. They weren't looking for that.
It's not the same kind of gun. It's not the same kind of buyer. I mean, I'm looking across here at what you guys have just laid out. Matt, I've got to get you to talk about what is maybe the newest polymer pistol on the market, the Ruger American.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, Rob's been kind of glancing over there and going, what is that thing you got over there?
Yeah, so we just launched the Ruger American pistol right back in January, so it's brand new. We launched it as a 9mm and a 45 and a full-size Pro model. And Pro to us means lacking a manual thumb safety. But like on the SR9, we've done a Pro. We've had our standard.
Right.
So right now we're looking at this. I have the 9mm in front of me, and it's not our state-compliant version, so it's a regular 17-round capacity magazine.
The way it was meant to be.
The way it was exactly meant to be. About the size of a human hand. So it's a fantastic striker-fired gun. Has just way too many great features, but maybe my single favorite is how easy it is to disassemble it.
Yeah.
So I have it here already in pieces. I'm just going to put it back together, and it's slide on, slide lock, takedown lever back to 3 o'clock.
Don't you love it?
And disassembly is even more important. So there's no pulling the trigger. There's no great mass manipulation you have to learn. It's ammunition source out at slide lock. Our lever goes from 3 o'clock down to 6 o'clock, and the whole thing comes off. And from there, it's a tilt breech locking gun. Very traditional in that respect. One of the things that makes this gun great to shoot is it has a very low bore axis. So,
which is one of the things that we're able to do with polymer guns that we can't quite do with 1911s.
Well, 1911, I mean, there's only so far up that the grip safety can go because there's a hammer.
Right.
Yep. And then the unlocking cam in our gun has been highly engineered, where maybe in the past there had been less attention paid to it. And the goal here was that we keep the barrel locked to the slide longer. So now you have the mass of the barrel and the slide starting in recoil.
Okay.
And it ends up keeping everything together, a little more mass, helps control muzzle flip. And then when the slide actually unlocks, there's less momentum in that slide to batter you. But we still get 100% function.
That helps me understand. The first time I shot that gun, a 9mm, literally, first round I shot, I just went, oh, that's different. It's like you're going, okay, something's different. You know how you can tell the impulse of a gun, and you just go, okay, something's changed here. It felt, and the word that just came to mind was soft. And I know that physics are that it can't recoil less, really, but you can change the time component or the impulse or something, but it just felt that way.
Yep. And then on the human interface side, we ship either the 9 or the 45 with what we call a medium grip module. So that they all come that way, but we also include this little Torx wrench. And it's a quarter turn on the screw on the back of the grip frame.
Right.
And then grip module comes off, and it's marked with an M for medium. But then I also have the large in front of me here, and it pops right back on, locks right back in place, and it completely changes the feel of the gun.
Yeah, as a guy with smaller hands, that's one of the features that, I mean, you guys have had that, on your guns, being able to swap those out. That's one of the things about polymer guns that I really like, is being able to customize the size of your grip to your hand. I mean, and you're a big guy, but you don't
I have tiny hands.
You have small hands.
Tiny hands,
yeah.
so I always like the smallest of the grips.
And I have found, Matt, I'm interested in your take on this, that when I get a chance to put them all out and have people handle them, probably 80% of the people, no matter the size of the person, likes the smallest grip.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you do exactly what you say, like if we have not on the Mod 2, but on the XDM, if you put one there with the small, the medium, and the large, which they feel just completely different. I wouldn't say everyone, but 9 out of 10 people are going to like the one that feels smaller. They won't know why, because it just but it changes the profile of the back and makes it a little bit flatter. And
the thing is, you
like
can't tell the difference by looking. The differences are so small.
Got to look at the number.
But when you put your hand on it, you go, oh yeah, I can tell. And for you guys who have to design that, I don't envy you of having to make those tiny sculpting changes.
A lot of the subtle changes when you're doing any sort of ergonomics is based on feel. But the bigger end of it from the marketing side, of course, is the way it looks. Because if it doesn't look good, most people won't pick it up to begin with.
Right.
So there is a magic
somewhere in there. That's
something in there.
You're putting all that secret sauce together.
Making it look good and having it feel good.
So, Matt, we've got, what size are you making the American in right now?
So as far as grip panels? Or?
No, just the physical size you got. Do you have compacts yet?
No compacts. So right now we are a full size only. However, the actual fire control module within the gun is completely modular. So it's a matter of removing the takedown pin, pulling the entire gun out of what is just a frame, and the potential exists for a lot of options.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
That's so politically clean right there. Good job. Good job. When corporate hears that, they'll say, "Okay, that's exactly how we need to say that."
Potential exists. I
got a belt sander and a saw. And we can make that. There's nothing in the frames on those polymer guns, so
we can start a new company. Sawzall's Gunsmiths.
Sawzall. Shorten it while you wait.
There you go. That's right. In fact, you can just hold on to it.
Yeah. Here, hold it. And just tell me when you like it.
We'll just chop off some of it.
So what I've started playing with on this gun in particular is on the 9mm. We have the small grip module.
Okay.
And for me, it's actually a little bit small, but it fits me perfectly in a couple places. So I've actually been building some putty up on one of the small modules and making it exactly what I want it to be.
Right.
Really?
Which is just something I would never do that to my gun without the ability to change it back or to
to make it permanent.
You can
unfix it.
You can take a grip and play with it.
Unfix it.
I bet there's been a few guns you wish you could have unfixed.
Oh my God, I have improved so many guns that I wish I could have unimproved when I was done. Oh my goodness.
This is great. This is going to be fabulous when I get done with this.
What did I do? Oh my gosh. Can we get another one of those?
Well, fortunately, in most cases, you don't really ruin a gun, but occasionally you actually can.
Oh yeah, I've scrapped a few frames. I thought for some reason when I did the first version, we had the original XD. And when we wanted to make a short one, they were all sitting in this meeting. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it's still funny. So we're sitting in a meeting, like, what length should we make it? And I'm like, well, cut it off till the magazine holds 10 rounds. So how long is that? I don't know. And I walked out of the meeting. I went back in the shop, and I kind of just the rough guess is, well, if I want it to be a 10 round, said this one, I'm going to cut about that much off it. So I took a magazine and I bandsawed. I just took the magazine, I bandsawed it right about there, and then I fold the edges up, put the pieces back in, and then I went on the bottom of the belt sander and kept sanding off the bottom of the XD frame until the magazine went in, and then I came back in it, and I said, how about this long? And they were looking at like, what is that? Says, I just made that. Says, this is the old way of prototyping things. Now, I ruined a frame in a magazine.
Yep.
Because there was no way to make it look like I hadn't just done what I just did.
Right.
But
you got there.
But that's okay. Well, and then they all said, well, it should be a little bigger than that. I says, I agree.
There you go. That's fabulous. All right, hold on here, guys. We're going to run to our break. We're visiting with Rob Leatham at Willson. We got guns spread out all over the place. If you're listening to this on the radio, you might want to just check it out because we're actually shooting video of this. We're putting up on our YouTube channel. If you go to Gun Talk TV or Gun Talk Media, you can find it there and see what we're doing. You can actually see the guns here. So lots of fun, lots of cool stuff going on here. We have rifles and pistols. Be right back. I heard that music go to the doodle-doo-doo-doo, and I know that that's usually we're out when that happens, so that's where I stopped. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, so that it really happened. So while they're in a new products meeting and we're designing the shorter version of the gun, and I'm like, there's nothing in the frame, right? They're like, did you really just do that to that gun? I said, yeah, who cares?
We got more.
We got another polymer frame, and that's how I made the first one. I wish, the hard part is I wished I had kept stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we probably just scrapped it.
Yeah, sure.
Once it became, because it was, it's
unusable.
It was ruined,
sure.
but that's how I made the first one.
I mean, but that's how things happen and happen fast.
Now
somebody just makes the effort.
Now we just draw it all in SolidWorks.
I don't have to think about it anymore. Thanks.
Now we don't have to actually. Most of the time, the first time we make one, dimensionally it's right. SolidWorks has changed everything.
Ah.
Yeah, the whole CAD/CAM industry allows us to go in. I mean, we can do analysis of forces, what things have to weigh, how much we can lighten them, what the operating changes will make. I mean, the electronics involved, there's the calculations involved. I could sit there and I could plot that in SolidWorks and say, well, if we cut 25 grams off the weight of the slide, how is that going to affect the cycle of the gun? I mean, we could do all that. And in the past, it would be, well, cut a hole in it and let's go see what happens.
Does that allow you guys to reduce the lead time or the production time on these, getting these out the door?
Okay. If we wanted to make any change on any one of these guns, and let's say it wasn't an action change regarding the way the trigger mechanism or any of those things work, and it's simply you want to do a slide. Well, if you want to make the slide 6 inches long instead of 1 inch or instead of 5 inches, and we want to keep the weight the same, we can plot on SolidWorks how much material we have to take off in another area to be able to have enough material to make it an inch longer, and it simply tells you, well, it's got to go here, 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 and you can see it all and see it all work. It's just magical. I mean, I personally, I wish I had an engineering background from the standpoint and was able to work in that.
What you're describing is you can get to the point where your first gun out is actually pretty much your gun.
Yeah,
it's not like a whole series of prototypes and all of that.
Well, you draw it up on the computer, and then you rapid prototype apart, and now you fundamentally have the piece, and we can now even shoot some of those, and then you know exactly what you've got at that point. So by the time we make the first mold,
right,
we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't make a mold and then
what a difference.
Oh God, we got to fix a mold, because these molds, I mean, the same deal. You know, the mold for that grip was impossible to do cheap enough to make it work in this industry 50 years ago. I mean, that is so involved. And now, so we need to be able to, we want to make one.
And of course, as a consumer, we just take that for granted. Oh, they just made
we think, oh, that can't cost Ruger $1 to make that part. No, it cost $150,000 to make that one.
The first one.
Yeah. And then everyone
Small,
after that,
medium, large,
right?
Yeah,
and now like the grip sleeves that come on the magazines for the different sizes,
right?
And those are all separate molds, and we want to make one.
We don't think about that stuff.
We don't want to make one, and so we need to change that mold and change that mold and change that mold.
Yeah, the 3D printing's awesome because it takes literally what's on your screen and puts it in your hand in hours to days.
It's amazing.
You'll have you want to know what this looks like if it was this shape,
right?
Somebody knows how to work that system. I don't. I'm there when they do it, and I see how it works. But that's magic. It's literally magic. How do you make something out of nothing? That's how it works.
I've been doing it for years.
I came from the other era. Says, well, we're gonna have to cut something off, or we're gonna have to weld something on,
right,
to make something new, and that's the old.
It's a whole different way of looking at
different
things.
work.
Yeah,
a whole different world.
Well, and it's opened us up to really great products available at a really fast delivery rate.
Well, and the pricing too.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah.
When I started shooting, a custom gun cost the same in 1979 as it does right now. If you send a gun off to a custom guy and have him build you a custom 1911, like what a shooting competition, it cost $2,500 then. It costs $2,500 now.
Hold on, here we go.
We're talking optics, ammo, guns, and more from the set of Guns and Gear Season 8. Once again, here's Tom.
Well, often I say, I wish you could be a part of the discussions that take place during the break. Well, actually, now you can, because we're actually recording all of this, and it'll be on our video that will be on YouTube. So we're sitting on the set here. Oh, did you not know that we were recording all that? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Better start working on that resume.
It's always fun for me. By the way, we got Matt Willson from Ruger here, Rob Leatham from Springfield Armory. It's fun to get people from two different gun companies together, and it doesn't take very long before the commonality comes out of what you guys do and what's involved in designing and prototyping and making guns. And you're talking about 3D printing. And frankly, if we didn't have the technology, the 3D, SolidWorks and all of that, we couldn't have a lot of these guns. Is that fair?
You certainly wouldn't have them quickly.
Okay.
And that might be the biggest change in manufacturing as a whole. You can model something on a screen when you think you have something you like that has the right measurements. 95% of the population should find this grip agreeable, but then you actually have to touch it to be sure. And 3D printing can turn that around in hours to days.
Right.
And then you have something real in your hand that you can evaluate and adjudicate. And is this what we think it would be, and is it everything we need it to be?
It's amazing stuff. All right, now we were looking at the Ruger American pistol, which is a delightful new pistol. And Rob, you've got a delightful old-style pistol over here in the form of a regular old 1911.
Old-style 1911.
And one of the things that you were talking about earlier is just the feature set on it is so good. For those of us who really like shooting, and you guys, I can say this because both of you companies make 1911s. There's nothing that shoots like a really good 1911, is there?
No. For me, and I have the finest versions of practically every gun you can imagine.
Right.
I mean, because I'm like you, Tom. I mean, I work for Springfield Armory, and I love our products, but I also have products from quite a few other manufacturers.
Let's face it, I'm a gunsmith.
I'm a gun guy, man.
I'm easy. I mean, the next gun that comes along, I love that one too. I'm just easy that way.
I am a gun guy, but when you cut down to what the elements that allow me to shoot really well are going to be based on a lot of ergonomics. I mean, take away the elements of accuracy and reliability right off the bat. Just throw those out, because let's call that an equal in every product line.
Fair.
So because it doesn't matter. So we'll just take that out of the equation. The parts that allow me to perform the best are going to be based on the human engineering of the gun. The trigger pull, the recoil cycle, how much the gun kicks, and things that are really good about the 1911 there's factors that no one ever talks about. The relationship of where the trigger is to the grip safety. There are some elements involved that are human engineering that no one ever wants to know. I don't like roundy guns as much as I like flatty guns.
Okay.
I made up two terms, roundy and flatty. So I like to be able to have a tactile index.
Trademark Rob Latham.
Rob Latham 2016, yeah. I want the gun to be, I want to be able to close my eyes and know exactly where the gun's pointed, right? So I can't do that as well, as quickly, as easily with a round thing as I can a flat thing.
Size. Okay.
Right. So I'm not looking for all the latest in ergonomics. I'm actually looking for surfaces that don't slip in my hands, flat, smooth, all the things that we try so hard to get into the modern line of pistol. I mean, the 1911 is what I'm used to. Is it as comfortable in my hand? as some of the newer design guns.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm
not.
looking. I'm just going to say I'm looking at what's on the table here. We got the Ruger American, and we've got the XT Mod 2, and you know what I'm seeing is there's an awful lot of flatty in both of those guns.
And there's a reason for that. I mean, every time we go roundy on things, it always feels good in the gun shop. But when you get to the shooting,
right,
where you're actually using the gun, stuff that we can't tell, you can't sit in an engineering meeting and explain to the guy that I can't point a round thing.
Right.
Because I don't know which direction
it's hard to point a tennis ball.
Right, exactly. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
So we need some sort of surface. So I like the flat and square of the 1911, and I like the positioning of the trigger to the grip safety. I like the short. We were talking about triggers before. Short and clean.
So what you're saying is that John Browning actually did know what he was doing.
Right. That's a product of, how many years? I think they started that.
Well, originally 1905.
1905, right?
There was a model 1905, and then they worked, and then it was finally adopted by the military in 1911. But this thing goes back that far.
So it took them to get that gun in the condition that we now know it is in 1911. It took at least 5 or 6 years before they said, okay, this is the one we want. We can do that with a gun now much quicker because of modern manufacturing.
And I'm telling you guys are making polymer pistols that, to me, have a lot of the great features of a 1911. Right. It's kind of an homage to John Browning, that no matter how new the gun is, you can still see a lot of him in all of these semi-auto pistols.
Well, there's just a relation there when you put the guns, you start sitting guns on top of guns and seeing where pieces go. When someone's saying we're trying to get a relationship, now maybe some of it isn't better. It's simply
what we know,
and what you're familiar with, because the grip angle. These guns all have very, very similar grip angles.
Actually got 11 inch. Was it 11 degree?
I don't
11
know.
to 13 degrees, something like that. Yeah.
And that's a number we've all become accustomed to.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. The grip angle is that angle on the gun because of the magazine. The way the rounds had to feed in the magazine. So that's the amount of grip angle they were able to get into it.
To make it feed reliably.
Right.
And,
so then
one drives another, drives another.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's so many elements behind it that over the years, the gun has just have benefited like a small block Chevy engine. An old push rod, motor like that, there's nothing magical about it, but it's been developed so well that
it just works.
That's why it's loved.
I mean, look, I'm looking at you, Matt. You pick this pistol up, it just hits your hand. You go, yeah. There you go.
I mean, what a happy coincidence that the way cartridges stack in a magazine just fits so perfectly in the human hand. It's pretty fantastic.
It really is. Tell you what, hold on. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about that rifle you got sitting over there because I've been eyeballing that thing. So we'll talk about the one of the newer things from Ruger when we come back. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.
Hardcore tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. For decades, Surefire has built the first and finest professional-grade flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good? Okay.
Fabulous.
I didn't hear him.
No, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I just was enjoying this moment of quiet when we were not talking.
Well, you know what's funny is how the AR package has just changed the world, too. I'm the old guard. I'm older. Well, you and me are close, but we're older than him. But think about this. When we grew up, I hated the M16. You know why? Because I was told to hate it.
Right.
Because it's not a rifle like.
Well, it didn't have wood.
Right.
It wasn't bolt action.
Right. It wasn't right.
Yeah.
And now there are huge. How many people don't have one? How many shooters don't have one? Even the ones that don't particularly like them. They all have them because its usability is on a scale second to none. Mm-hmm. It literally is
It's the easiest rifle. It feels good in the hands. Mm-hmm. It's just ergonomically designed. We keep saying ergonomic, but that's it. The darn thing just works.
Well, that's how they have to work. So if they aren't comfortable, if they hurt you, they're no fun.
I was explaining the other day how that rifle has fundamentally replaced the 1022. With 22 ammo being as difficult as it is to get.
Interesting.
I find myself taking people out to shoot more often if we want to shoot rifles is we'll take an AR platform gun of some sort.
Yeah, because you're paying 22, 23 cents a round for 223.
It's not that expensive.
Right.
The human engineering of the gun is exceptionally good. I mean, it's just from a standpoint of where you would lay things out. It's not old school, so I'm sure there'll be somebody who would just be mad that I said that. But the human engineering of the gun, when you hold things, your hands go where it's supposed to be. It's very easy to control. The mechanism can be made as reliable, as accurate as you're wanting it to be. And durability is really not an issue. And part of that, I think, is due to the cartridge, which I scoffed as a kid.
I know.
Like 223, we were going to war with a varmint cartridge.
That's
you know?
right.
And so without getting into that element, what you do have is something that everybody can control. I've never found a shooter yet that found the recoil of the gun objectionable.
No.
I've handed lots of people 308s and had them shoot one shot and go like,
I'm done. Yeah.
I don't want to shoot this anymore.
Hold on. All right, we're back with you, and during the break, we decided that there's really no need for AR-15s.
Yeah.
Actually, we're having a little bit of a love fest over here. Matt, we're looking at this rifle you got sitting over here, and it's an AR-15, and it's the Ruger, but it's different because you've done something to it.
Well, and we have a couple different modern sporting rifle platforms out now, and we started back in around 2009 with our SR556. That was a piston rifle, and this is just the newest version of that pistol.
So this is a piston gun also.
Yep.
Okay.
But what really makes this different is that it's our 556 takedown, and it's a quick change. Call it what you want, but the function is that as long as I have the bolt open, I can pull out this barrel.
You just took the barrel out in like 2 seconds.
So the engineer who designed this said it's not quick change if you can't do it while you're running down a hill, escaping enemy fire. And
you reach into your quiver on your back and pull out another barrel.
And pull out the next barrel. So I've tried. I can't do it running, but I can do it at a brisk walk.
Like that, huh?
But it's a really great mechanism. It has fantastic return to zero. We ship it as a 5.56, but we have a 300 blackout barrel as well. And 300 blackout in a piston gun was a bit of a unicorn for a long time. People thought you couldn't really make them work and work well with the variety of ammo people shoot.
Sure.
But we've cracked that nut, and it's
really.
It comes down to understanding your product, and I think everyone in the industry is doing a better job of it.
You said that if you had the certain type of ammo on a certain frigid cold day, you might have trouble. So it's really involved. You just reach up and turn the little knob on the gun and change the setting, and now it runs again.
Yeah, I tried to make it choke this winter up in New Hampshire. We had a good cold stretch. I had some ammo that always ran on our regular setting too, which is where I find the regular usually runs everything.
Right.
But on that particular cold day, unsuppressed subsonic blackout, it wasn't doing it for me. But I changed it to 3 and right back in business.
You went click, and all of a sudden the gun's running, which is why you have the piston gun.
It is. And you can go so far as shutting the gas off and running it like a straight pull and
if you're going suppressed,
subsonic.
Now it's really quiet.
Yeah, now you're into the stupid quiet category that's just a smile maker.
It is. Now, I noticed that when you took that out, you rotated the barrel, and it's not like a 90 degree, it's not even 45. That's got to be like, 20-degree turn? It's like almost nothing.
Yeah, it's right around 30 degrees.
Okay, so that's a pretty good guess.
And to remove the barrel, there is a lever that you have to depress. But reinstalling it, it's just dropping into position
and snap
and bringing it back up to top dead center.
I love the idea of just popping that out and dropping your blackout barrel in there. That's pretty sweet.
And we keep the front sight on the barrel. Okay. So if you're running multiple barrels, especially I'm an iron sight guy, so I appreciate this maybe more than most. But our front sight has windage and elevation. So what you can end up doing is zeroing multiple barrels, and it could be 300 blackout or 5.56. Cool. It really doesn't matter. You find the common position for the rear sight with windage. You get windage and elevation on the front, and you're in business.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I remember when I could see iron sights.
What are iron sights?
Those things we could see before we got these.
Yeah, the reader glasses that we were wearing. Yeah, no kidding.
these damn kids in their eyes.
All right. My front sight story. There's a bunch of guys at Gun Sight, and they're older gun writers, right? There's a new product being introduced. I won't mention the company's name because it's not sitting here. And they're shooting pistols, and one of these old guys says, "Man, I hate getting old. I can't see my front sight anymore." The other guy looks over and says, "Well, that's because it's between your feet." it's falling off.
Falling off?
Yeah, but we're just chalking it up to, I can't see the sight anymore. So there you go.
Well,
but there is a little bit of that going on.
There is some of that going on.
And people that haven't gotten there, they say, oh, yeah, you all guys know, trust me, it's coming for you.
Yeah, your
too.
day's coming, son.
It's coming.
I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, keep it while you can.
That's exactly right. So availability on this rifle is it's out now?
It's out now.
Of course,
Ship it.
you guys have changed everything now. I mean, when you announce it, it's out.
It's a lot easier that way.
It's better that way. When you can actually sell things when you tell people you have it.
Well,
because that's not the way it was in the distant past for Ruger.
Well, I say that, but right now the Ruger precision rifle is still a hard gun to find, and even our AR-556. But I promise you they're out there.
Actually,
I saw one.
You saw one?
I saw one.
You said you went into a store yesterday. They had two.
Yep.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Right here in Baton Rouge.
By the time this thing airs, they'll be gone. So too bad for you guys.
Well, they'll have more.
There you go.
Yeah,
But,
we'll make more.
That's right. Like the potato chips, right?
That's right.
You keep buying them, we'll make more.
Keep buying them, we'll make more.
What is it that makes people want this rifle so much?
Oh man, it's a great platform. So, for not a lot of money, you're into a rifle that's capable of doing way more right out of the box than most rifles out there today. So if you're trying to get into long range, and whether that's 100 yards for you and you're just popping paper, or if you're getting into precision rifle, it's a platform you can put glass on, go shoot. And if you're already in that game and you have AI magazines, well, you can use those. If you want a more inexpensive route in on feeding that gun, it ships with 2 10-round PMags, and it takes that magazine just as well. So it's a platform that will fit you. It's very ergonomically adjustable for the end user.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the Ruger Precision Rifle is running at roughly half the price or even a third the price of some of the other precision long-range rifles. And that by itself is an incredible value.
Well, and even if your goal is just to get started in this, it's a great place to be. But
right.
we have some very experienced shooters out there running this gun that may have put their more expensive gun to the side just to prove that you can do this.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Well, once again, we go back to that whole idea of you can produce guns now, get them to market more quickly, but also you can produce high-quality guns without the handwork. 'Cause it's the handwork that runs the price up on all these things. I mean, it always is. All right. Hold on here, guys. We'll take another break here. I'm talking with Matt Willson from Ruger. Rob Leatham, beginning shooter coming into the competitive game here. And we really do wish you well.
Aspiring shooter.
Yes, exactly right. Who's won pretty much everything there is to win, period. If there's an event out there, he owns it. So there you go. Don't go far. We'll be right back. And be sure to check this out. The video of us doing this show is available on our YouTube channel. Check it out. All right, we're working here with the artist formerly known as Rob Leatham. What did you do?
I guess we might have been live there.
All mics are always open, just like all guns.
All guns always loaded.
That's right. All guns are always loaded. Which is, one of the things that you have made the point, and you can make the point one more time about a gun is always a gun.
Gun's always gun. I don't care.
We're always talking about safety stuff here.
Oh man, we just did some dry fire video stuff that's going to come from Springfield Armory, and the whole time I'm like, I don't care if the gun's loaded, unloaded, or not. I mean, it's never going to be handled any differently. Yeah. It's not that issue that every gun is always loaded. That's not the point. Is you always treat it like what it is, which is a gun.
I was trying to explain it to somebody, trying to find, how you're always trying to find a different way to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And I said, honestly, for those of us who do this, think of it as though we are religious fanatics. If you are a safety fanatic, that is, when I pick this gun up over here, if I need to point it over there, I'm going to come down and come down here, and it's got a chamber flag in it.
Right.
We know this gun's not loaded, right? But you expect me to not point this gun at you,
right?
And so
it's manners.
It is manners.
It's manners.
It's something we do that defines who we are.
Right. It's taking your muddy shoes off before you go in your buddy's house.
Yeah. It's not shining the laser on your hand at the shooting range.
God, you saw that?
Yeah, we all saw that.
Oh my gosh.
You're going, okay,
You know it's coming, and it's like oh boy.
But it is a self-correcting problem.
Yeah.
It is.
I hope it is.
One would hope. One would hope. There is, you don't put your hand in front of the muzzle, period, ever. You don't point your gun at something you're not really, willing to shoot. But you do have to kind of become a bit of a muzzle direction fanatic on the thing, don't you? And, and I find that serious shooters get to be pretty good about it. They're out all the time. Although you never know. I mean, you guys go to ranges all the time.
Tom, that's the element that will get you kicked out of the club quicker than anything else.
What's that?
Pointing the guns.
Yep.
Bad handling of guns. We could all go shooting, and I wouldn't worry at all about us. But when I take unknown entities and I go shoot with a lot of people,
right?
I mean, the only thing I ever watch, I don't care if you hit the targets. I don't care if you hold the gun right. I don't care if you're even any good. But the element that will get you on that blacklist quicker than anything else is poor gun handling.
Yeah, unsafe gun handling. Yeah. And as you say, it's a matter of manners. It's a matter of defining who you are. I expect when Matt picks up a gun, he hands it to me, he's going to open the action. Right?
Yeah.
And when I get it, I'm going to open the action.
Right. Everybody
and
does. And
you're not going to be offended, are you?
Not one bit.
That I opened the action even though you just did.
Exactly.
Right? It's almost like part of a handshake. It's a thing we do.
It's like saying hi.
Yeah, it really is. So you just, people go, you guys are just crazy about safety.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
I'll dive in on that one, Tom. And you know what? You're right. I am crazy about safety.
Yeah.
I've been shot exactly as many times as I want to be shot.
Yeah, there you go.
That's none.
None. So yeah,
and that's how many I want it to be.
Like to keep it right there.
Right.
And you and I have done a ton of stuff over a lot of years at the range, and it's really interesting. We kind of have that same approach, that belief system on this deal.
Well, that's why we probably get along as good as we do.
There you go. Cool guns, good stuff, man. I love both your companies are really cool because you guys keep cranking out neat stuff. And I know there's the list out there, and I know that we don't get to know about it, but I can't wait to know what's on the list when it comes out. So.
We usually get them from us before I do, Tom. So you keep me.
I am a little higher on the list than you are. just letting you know. What can I tell you? Of course, Matt knows about everything because he's sworn to secrecy.
Sworn to secrecy.
I pinky sworn everything this morning.
Pinky swear. There you go. All right. Well, we're going to be doing some more TV, and this is the Guns and Gear set. If you have not checked it out yet, by all means, go look at our YouTube channel. You can see what we're doing. You can see your beautiful faces here.
Yeah.
That's generous.
There you go. All right, when you go out, be careful when you're at those public ranges. Don't watch just yourself and the people you're with, but keep an eye out for the people left and right of you, both sides, right? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Are we done?
Did I lead that segment off with the word shit?
Yes.
God, I didn't know we were on. It's awesome. That's awesome.